Minister responsible for agriculture. Followed by Comrade Dr. Sanet Steenkamp, Minister responsible for education.
Viva free education, viva! Viva! Viva free education, viva! Viva!
Followed by the Deputy Minister of Mines and Energy, Comrade Kronlein. Comrade. Comrade, I don't see the chair for the governor. Kindly, can we have? Okay, it's fine. All right. Thank you very much. Our engagement will focus on the top 7 priority of the SWAPO Party manifesto. So this is what we are going to engage on the top 7 of SWAPO Party manifesto. We have agriculture. We have creative industry, we have youth empowerment, we have sport, we have land services and sanitations, we have industrial development, and we have oil and gas. So we are going to focus on these top 7 of SWAPO Party priority list on the manifesto. So our question will be based on that, and I would like to give the floor to the minister responsible for mines and energy, and then to the deputy minister of mines and energy, and then to the minister responsible for agriculture, minister of, did I miss education? Okay, education, and then agriculture, and then the prime minister, and then Comrade VP, in that order. So we'll start with the Deputy Minister of Mines and Energy, and then we come to the Minister of Education, and then we come to the Minister of Agriculture, and then we come to the Prime Minister, and then Comrade Vice President. So the floor is open, Comrade, for the engagement with the youth.
The Dr. Steenkamp said maybe it will be the first thing of the questions. Also, with the messages, how did you arrange it?
The question is,
Steenkamp said we must ask the questions first. And how did you arrange? So must I give the statement? Let me explain to her, please. It's fine. I'm ready, Commander.
okay, yeah. Are you not taking a seat? Then we bring the mic to you. Oh, you need to come here. Let me just ask. Let me just ask. Yeah. Can they come here? Can they come here? Can they come here for their presentation? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Comrade Deputy Minister, we can start from there. Yes.
Good afternoon, Vice President, our Right Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Honorable Steenkamp, Honorable Inge Zamwe, my ministers and all the protocol observers. Sorry, my name is Kodensia Kroner. Why am I nervous now? It can't be. I'm from the south. Yes, I'm responsible for the diamonds in the south, everywhere, because I'm an enabler, our ministry. We are responsible for mining. We are responsible for the industries. So I quickly want to say our responsibilities now. What our ministry currently doing is, okay, as I said, it's NAMDEP, is part of our diamonds in the southern part. the minings when it comes to the small miners, the EBL holders. Maybe I should just mention what we are responsible for, and then when the questions comes, I will elaborate more what you can ask for. The industries, so the former industries, Ministry of Industries is part of our ministry. That's why we are now a combined ministry called Industries, Mines and Energy. So we are responsible for all the SMEs in our country, empowering the SMEs. What else? The green hydrogen. Because last time I left out the green hydrogen and the oil and gas, but the upstream unit is sitting in the office of the president, and the downstream part is sitting under Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. And then green hydrogen, industries, mining, and diamonds. Those are the responsible areas of our ministry. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish to recognize all the comrades present, especially from the SWAPO Party Youth League, for getting us together here. We really appreciate it. Also to the regional coordinator and our honorable governor for hosting us. Esteemed Vice President, our Prime Minister, esteemed ministers, Deputy Minister, but most importantly, everyone present, a warm good afternoon to you. Keetmanshoop is warm. Is lelik. Kom ons maak het mooi. What we do in the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, 6 mandates. We call it MAISAC. So if you hear about MAISAC, you know it's our ministry, isn't it? First and foremost, we're responsible for education and upliftment of the youth empowerment, but we're responsible from the, most importantly, I think what we of great interest is the youth credit scheme training that was recently conducted in Keetmanshoop for 65 youth on how to benefit from the Namibia Youth Credit Scheme, which we can also talk about. Now, in terms of sports development, we know how important it is that we activate and identify the talent and nurture the talent from the grassroots level, school sports and community sports. And for that reason, our ministry is actually reforming the Namibia School Sports Union. The National School Sports Union is being reformed. We've done various consultations in all regions, including Taras, and we are reforming the NSU in our country, specifically for schools. I think everybody is very excited to hear about Her Excellency's vision that we've embraced and that we are executing, and that is from 2026. Nobody should be saying, I do not have fees for registering at any TVET college or TVET center or university. For registration fees and tuition fees, government has set aside the funding to make sure that your parents and your loved ones and your families do not have to struggle in Zula still, honestly. So that is something, a key. 4 of those resort under our ministry. 4 of those resort under our ministry, MAISAC. Thank you very much.
Comrade Vice President, Comrade Prime Minister, Comrade Youth, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here with you and to have a conversation, an interactive conversation about the work we do. As we have gone around the country during this time, I have come to realize that there is critical lack of information about what government is doing. And as a result, often our people get misled because they don't get to hear from the horse's mouth, as we say. But just to divert a little bit from, for a moment, you know, I once upon a time worked for Namdeb in Oranienburg, and we had operation in Lutres. And the type of weather that we are seeing today is like the Lutres weather. So I don't know whether now that Lutres has become famous for green hydrogen and all the new energy transition, it sent the weather to Keetmanshoop. So then you sit down to eat your katete is food. And then obviously the land on which you are living is a land reform component. So that's how I can basically break down the mandate of the ministry. But it is bigger than that. It is bigger than just simply what we eat, what we drink, and where we sleep and where we live. As you have heard, agriculture is one of the key priority for the 8th administration. What does that mean? It means that we have to produce enough food for ourselves to eat in our country and for our strategic food reserves, so that in times of drought, in times of crisis, when we can no longer import stuff from somewhere, that we have enough, at least sufficient staple food in our storage facilities. At the moment, our national storage facilities are sitting at below 30%. We know the reason why. We have had a prolonged period of drought for a number of years. But now the weather experts are telling us that we have entered into a period of 7 good years where the rainfall is likely to be good. So what does that mean for us? It means our farmers must produce food. And in order to produce food, the farmers need water. And we know that during this time of the year, when it's very dry, we experience critical water shortages across the country. From July to December, this time the rain came a little bit earlier, so we are a little bit relaxed for December, but from July to November, it was a very critical period. And therefore, the cabinet approved a plan that the ministry is busy now rolling out in all the regions. That is the installation of drill boreholes, installation of desalination plant where the water is found to be saline, the rehabilitation of earth dams, and construction of new ones. So if we have operations in Kabango East, Oshikoto, in Karas, as well as Hardap and all over, to make sure that we have sufficient water for human consumption as well as for our livestock. In terms of agriculture, obviously land is critical. So the role of government is to facilitate access to land. We have 2 types of land tenure system, the communal land system and the commercial land tenure system. We can discuss the details later. At a communal level, the role of government is to enable traditional leaders to allocate land to their subjects. And on a commercial level, government acquires farms and resettle deserving Namibians on those farms. We have bought farms this year in the Karas region. We have advertised those. And obviously, as we are making evaluation of the application, we are looking and encouraging more youth to participate in agriculture. In our green schemes, we are also making room for our youth to participate. Finally, when it comes to the fishery sector, when we are allocating the fishing quotas, We also give preference to the youth and women, extra points. So there are some youth who are already involved in those sectors, and we encourage more young people to pay interest and to be able to participate. But you must make sure you have access to information, you understand what is available, and you go out and look for those opportunities, because the ministry has got offices in all the 14 regions. You can walk in our regional offices and ask for information that you need. I think, Comrade Vice President, let me stand here for now until after we go into the details during the question and answer session. Thank you.
Comrade Vice President, Comrade Minister for Life or Life Sustaining, Comrade Minister for Education, and Comrade Minister, Deputy Minister for all other issues that are underground that brings beneficiation and so many other things. Diamant en al die goedes. Ja. Geachte dames en meneers, jong mensen wat hier is, die regionaal coördineer. Ik probeer om mijn Afrikaans beetje zuiver te maken. Deputy Secretary for the Youth League, de gouverneur van Karas region, wat van ver af komt, blauw-wijs tot hier zo. De Afrikaanse batterij is nou pap. I am very happy to be here. And the statement of the president that says we are too few to be poor is a statement that is very pregnant, is a statement that is very relevant, is a statement that we can dissect, a statement that has a human face, a statement that can speak to all the 7 pillars that we have in our manifesto. Comrade Vice President, just as I was in Tobias Ainyeko discussion, I'm also very happy here. When I saw the 16-year-old Hendricks, en soos hy gepraat het, ek het net daar gekyk en sê, yo, is net SWAPO wat so iets kan doen. En toe het ek geluister na die regional secretary for the Youth League in Karas region, the young lady, Velmeri, ne? Velmeri, well done. Waar is Velmeri? Daar is sy. Viva Velmeri, give her a round of applause. Now, Hendricks is a pioneer. The Deputy Secretary of the Youth League was a pioneer. And she was standing here speaking. I'm looking at her and say, yo, SWAPO is Oshini Mashakula, eh? Eh? There is a transmission where we are able to groom the young ones so that they are able to take responsibilities. So, we are too few to be poor can be translated in the following ideals before we start talking about what we have come here to do. The ideals of SWAPO is solidarity with the downtrodden, freedom for the oppressed, and social justice for the disadvantaged. And therefore, that brings me to what Velmeri said, and that's why I'm very fascinated by it. So we are, as cabinet, we are appointed by the president to assist her in the governance of the country, and to do so to the best of our ability, and to do so placing human consideration above all other technicalities. So when I listened to Velmeri, she summed up precisely what it is that we must do. She said, we know the issues. She said, we also know the challenges. And she said, we can then work towards the solutions. Those 3 things to me addresses the bread and butter issues, part of which this platform was created. So in other words, the issues that we are discussing are not new. Nobody can say here they don't know about it. Whether it is agriculture, whether it is youth empowerment, whether it is quality education, whether it is access to health, whether it's oil and gas, we have heard of it. We didn't know how it looks. Ja, Omes? Ons wag nog die dag, miskien 2032, ne? Then when we can feel, maybe we can taste the fuel. I therefore want to say one or two things before I give the mic. When we speak of what Velmarie has said, I want to call it as a bread and butter issues. What it means is that the resources of Namibia are enough to make sure that every household is able to enjoy the cake of a free and independent Namibia. That beteken, we have sufficient resources to make the people in Falgras happy, to make the people in Berseba happy, to make the people of Gutenhaus happy, to make the people of Betania happy, to make the people of Berseba, Aruap, Karasberg, Ariamsvlei, Kainkais, Noord-Oever, Grunau, Area 7 of Luderitz, Kronlein, Zeeblachte, everywhere in Karas region, everywhere in Namibia. There is a potential for every Namibian to enjoy the cake of a free and independent Namibia. And this is a conversation of bread and butter issue. And I therefore want to assure you and tell you and inform you, as Prime Minister for the past 8 months or so, the ministers that the President has appointed are working very hard. The Vice President here, as you see her, she's working very hard. I can assure you, these comrades, even if it is midnight or below midnight, above midnight, whatever WhatsApp you send, whatever SMS you send, they respond. And there are many things that are happening behind the scenes that you have not seen what they are doing. So please give them a round of applause. So the youth, therefore, we are from that section. We are from that sector. Secretary of the Youth League then, when we still had hair, now the hair is gone. I want you to know that it is the sections, it is the branches, it is the districts, it is the structures of SWAPO that made us to reach where we are. So therefore, we can never forget the ladder that made us to be who we are. When we launched the National Youth Development Fund in Hobabis, when my boss sent me there, the president, I was provided a speech to read. In that speech, amongst other things, of course, it spoke about what the National Youth Fund is and how good it is. But somewhere there, it says, in order for the young people to access these funds, they must have collaterals. So here I am, former secretary of the Youth League, the very one who used to make a lot of noise about youth empowerment. And now youth empowerment has come. Suddenly I must stand in Hobabis and say the youth must be required to have collateral. I phoned our president, I said, sorry, President, respectfully, grant me the opportunity to divert from this speech because I'm not going to read this part. And therefore, when I went to the podium, the officials were expecting, these are officials from the Ministry of Responsible Finance. I think they were expecting me to read it like they have given it to me, only to hear me announce and say, there shall be no collateral, all of you will benefit. So therefore, young people, as the Vice President has read in that speech, the Youth Fund is for you. When we were running around, these people that are here who were running around talking about youth empowerment, we want youth empowerment, there was no fund. There was no fund whatsoever. Now you have heard it's 257 million. This is real money. So this is your money, and it is also part of that will create employment. So far, the numbers I have seen, those that have benefited, the figures that we are seeing, the potential of jobs that will be created, we can see that everybody so given, there is a number that says how much jobs must be created. The numbers are reaching 500, they are going up, and this is just below 30 million. So, and 257 million is still going. So which means now you young people, whether you are in whatever space, please make sure that this money, you access it. Do whatever you want with it, as long as you do so by placing humanity above all else. If you want to do a business of Brazilian hair and you call it Falchras hair, it's okay. That is also fine, it's a business. If you want to do a business of Meskinom Teflich, Felskune, it's a business. But above all, Comrade Vice President, as I conclude, I want us to be realistic, young people. I want us to be human. It does not make sense that if there is a school in Falchras or Varambat, the food that is served to that school is imported from somewhere else. Let the food that is consumed be food that we ourselves must produce. The more we produce, the more jobs we create. And if we allow others to do it, we are exporting jobs. So therefore, SWAPO Pratni netom te pratni, as Kambwa says, we do what we say. And therefore, so far, I was telling Comrade President, I want to thank her as former leader of the SWAPO Youth League. She has walked the talk on youth empowerment insofar as the fund is concerned. She has walked the talk insofar as subsidized tertiary education. So let us give a round of applause to our president. She has walked the talk, and the rest is now for us. Let us unite. That is more than anything else. If we are not united, all these things we are talking will not materialize. And the Bible, there is said, the best commandment, the first commandment, love your neighbor like you love yourself. And therefore, if we love each other in the sections, in the branches, in the districts, in the regions, in the Politburo Central Committee and everywhere, and the Constitution of SWAPO is the only one that says the aims and objective is one of it is to unite the people of Namibia, irrespective. So that is what we should do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here today, and I'm also honored to be delegated such an important function. I acknowledge my panel. I have a strong team with me, and allow me to share with you the mandate of my office. My office is under the presidency, but especially my office is responsible to conclude the genocide. The genocide. Yes, we'll try our best to conclude it. And then my office is also responsible for the marginalized and the persons with marginalized communities and the persons with disabilities. allow me to inform you also that recently we have launched the revived National Disability Policy. And we have also, as Cabinet, approved at Cabinet and noted at Parliament, the change of the word marginalized. We are no more using the word marginalized. We are now saying indigenous minorities. This is the new word that we will now use. So I am responsible for the two divisions. Coming to conclude, we have the 7 priority areas. As I've said, look, where can you fit in that priority areas and make use of that that opportunities. Also, information is key. Reach out, and acquaint yourself with the information and make use of it. Green hydrogen, oil and gas opportunities it's not in Windhoek, it's not in Zambezi alone, in the Oceania alone. It is here in Karas. So make use of it, get the information and make use of it. Important, as I'm concluding, is my youth, invest in education. Invest in your education. Invest in your children and your siblings' education. Don't demoralize yourself with, I will not get a job. I will not get a job. Invest in your education and grab the opportunities that are there. With that, let us hear from you.
Thank you to the panelists. The panelists have shared the general view and the mandate of their offices. And we are going to ask questions based on the mandate of their office. On top of that, I would like to highlight that the way we are going to handle this session for questions, we are going to take 10 people from the audience, and those 10 people must come and line up this side. From there, it's where they will come and ask their questions at the podium. What will happen is that please come and ask the questions. Do not make a statement, just be straightforward to the question. Be brief in the question, and do not repeat the question if it's already been asked by someone else. And we are going to allocate 1 minute per person. So 1 minute per person to ask the question. So once we are done with the 10 people, and then we'll move to the second round. So the floor is open. Comrade Kawika, I'm being guided, so we can move on. Yes, can we have the 10 people? So far 7? Okay. 7, 8. Can we have 2 more? Can we have 2 more? Okay, yes, the first person, so please come forth, introduce yourself, your name, and then if you are coming from any institution, so then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mateo Simon. I am the regional coordinator of NAFAO. I am from Lodret. My input or my question is basically on fishing industry. There was more information that I wanted to, or the statement that I wanted just to speak, but anyway, because of time limitation, I'm just having a question to Honorable Inge. There is a restriction in the sea, is the restriction going to be removed because it is now having a bad effect? That's the reason as to why I wanted to make it clear. But anyway, is the 200-meter restriction going to be removed or not? That's my question. But I was supposed to brief, but anyway, because of time, thank you very much.
SWAPO, hard work, now. Thank you, God, that I'm staying today. My question is to the Minister of Education and the Prime Minister and the Vice President also. The qualifications of a cleaner, you have to look for it. The qualification, the school that you have now, the HRs, what they are doing. I was been employed also here. They never give me my job. I was running up and down in the government streets. So my thing is that, can you people, as the higher people, our leaders, can you look into it? And the qualifications. To the Education Minister, Ms. Sanet Steenkamp, can you please look into it? Green hydrogen, it's also the same. Ms. Chris Kroner, can you please look into it? Because we all don't have any work or any school. Can we look into it? Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, dear leaders. My question is brief. My name is Erastus Angula. I'm a member of SWAPO and also a member of the Namibia Youth Energy Forum, serving as the regional coordinator. So my question is on, or directed to Comrade Kroner. It's on the income tax threshold. I was a bit disheartened to hear a member or an official from NAMRA saying it does not involve or include close corporations. My question is it possible for leaders both at party level, legislature, as well as the executive to consider extending the income threshold to close corporations as well, for the sake of youth empowerment? Thank you very much.
Salutations to the panelists, salutations to my comrade. My name is Lucas Nampila, a student leader. I have questions too to the Minister, Mrs. Sanet Steenkamp. The first one is, Mrs. Sanet Steenkamp, I've realized that most our government facilities are in a dilapidated state. And because our government is funding free tertiary education, why can't the TVET institutions offer like a practical based where they fix our officers, and then those kids that fix them, the trainees, they train them for marks. I know a few schools do that in a few government facilities, but now it should be made mandatory. And then maybe they can have the people from the Ministry of Works just as coordinators to overlook, to see that they are doing the correct, yeah. And the next question is, I've seen that a lot of learners go to study at universities, but then they study because they feel that it's because of misinformation. We have this thing of, we don't really know where to look at to see what is really in the job market. So what if the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Education, maybe have a collaborative data-based analysis to see that we have a projection of, no, we have 200 jobs currently in Namibia, 200 engineers, for instance. So if we know that maybe in the next 5 years, 100 engineers will retire, then I will have the idea to say, maybe let me go into this field. So maybe there's a high possibility I might get a job. So if we can maybe have after every 3 years, a database analysis to see this is the job, this is the projection. I thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Daisy Kwanradi. So my first question is directed to Honorable Gaudensia Kroene. I don't know if it's a suggestion or a question, but it says, how is the government planning on educating school-going learners on the mining and energy and how we can use it to drive the economy to a next level? What I mean by this is we are sitting in classes, we only hear on the news that there is green hydrogen, but really if we want to go into this, we have to be taught about the industry, learn more about it before we actually go into the industry. And my second question is directed to the Minister of Education, and it says, what is being done to improve safety, support, and resources in schools, especially the ones which are hostel-based, because the security is not tightened at all. Like we have crimes going on in schools, especially in the school hostels. I thank you.
Greetings, everyone. And greetings to the panelists. My name is Elizabeth Silas. I am the Student Parliament Executive Secretary for UNAM Southern Campus, as well as the Vice President for the Vibrant National African Student Association. Today, I have two questions. The first question goes to the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Land Reform. Considering the potential of the Negatal Dam, which was inaugurated on the 13th March 2020 by our former Vice President, His Excellency Nangolo Mbumba, how can the ministry utilize this infrastructure to drive large-scale agricultural production in the South as a practical solution to regional unemployment and to strengthen national food security? What specific actions or programs are being considered to unlock this opportunity? And my second question goes to our Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture. Students who completed the short course in diplomacy offered by UNAM's Namibia School of Diplomatic Studies in collaboration with the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation recently discovered that this program is not accredited. Only after applying for the cadet positions and being informed by the ministry's HR office. Considering the time and money invested by these students, how does the ministry plan to address and resolve this issue to ensure that students are protected from enrolling in unaccredited programs in the future? Thank you.
Greetings. Allow me to stand on the established protocols. My name is Faustinus Gipangelwa, well-known Comrade Ubuntu. I'm one from the UNAM Southern Campus branch, and my concern is on the youth empowerment, whereby we are more focused on natural resources. Yes, our country is rich of natural resources, but they are not forever. How if we also make some focus or put some programs into action that are focusing on manufacturing that can also take up some youth that are complaining, or we have a number of youth that are unemployed. And focusing on manufacturing industry, it can also boost our country's economy and take up a number of unemployed youth. Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear comrades. My panelists here, good afternoon. My name is Maria Ngikuma. I am a surveyor at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform under the Division Land. My question is directed to our Honorable Minister, Ms. Inge Zamani. And Honorable Minister, second, which is the Surveyors Council of Namibia. It has been largely inactive in the past 5 years in fulfilling its regulatory functions, and this is affecting our professional registrations, professional standard, and the overall development of the surveying profession in Namibia. My question is, what concrete steps can the ministry, under the leadership of our minister, take to reactivate and strengthen SERCON so it can effectively carry out its statutory mandate? One of the effects that this inactivity have caused is, I'm sure you're aware of our surveying positions that were advertised a year ago. They still didn't conduct any interviews, and they are not going to conduct any interviews anytime soon because we are lacking our professional registration certificates for surveying technician, apprentice professional land surveyors, and professional land surveyors in general. So currently, we are also not able to benefit from the youth fund because even if we are to apply to get equipment, which is the GPS that we mostly use, we are not able to make use of it because we will not tender for government tenders because the government tender requires a professional registration, which is then this certificate of professional land surveyors. So if you do not have that, unfortunately, you will not be able to tender. So what can our minister then do to help us as the young surveyors of Namibia? Thank you.
Good afternoon, comrades. I only have, I think, 2 questions that I want to ask. One is actually based on, are there channels of, oh yes, my name is David, and I am part of the SWAPO Youth League, and I'm also an entrepreneur that is currently forerunning projects that are actually under review in Saudi Arabia and Australia. So I only wanted to ask, because I personally have been going through a lot of issues. So I wrote proposals to the Ministry of Education concerning a project that I was doing. And then there were also certain proposals that I was busy with. So I want to know, apart from the National Development Fund, are there initiatives within, especially the Ministry of Agriculture, that initiatives that we have introduced, especially the ones that are under review in Saudi Arabia, that we can integrate it with the ministry? Because what I have seen is a lot of what we are currently doing, the people that benefit from it are the people that are outside, and it is actually intended to provide more than 10,000 of jobs here in the Republic of Namibia in the first phase. So I just want to know, is there an integration type of thing that private companies or just innovators can collaborate with the ministry? And it is also the same question I also want to ask the Minister of Education concerning the projects that we had submitted so far. Apart from the National Youth Development Fund, how far or do they integrate with technology? Because what I've realized is we had also been struggling in that, and we never received any feedback on that. So I just want to know that. Yeah. And then a friend of mine is asking that I'm doing business with, are you exempt if you are blacklisted? If you are blacklisted, can you still participate in the National Youth Development Fund? So, yeah, like maybe you had accounts somewhere and then you never paid, so you were blacklisted. Can you still participate? Yeah. Huh?
Good evening once again. My question goes to the Minister of Education, and it's about the whole issue about free education. Yeah. The free education package. People are just wandering around celebrating about free education. Next year we are not paying for fees and stuff. But we, including me, I don't really know what the package include, the free education package include. So my question today is, what does this package, the free education package, include? I thank you.
Thank you for the first round of questions. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of Comrade Dr. Emma Kantema, Minister responsible for gender. Before we move on, I would like to give you the chance, if there is still comrades who wish to ask, so that they can come forth, at least 2 or 3, if they still. If there is no, if there is no one, so then we can take it for the second round. To the panelists, is anything clear, not clear? So if everything is clear, so we'll give you the floor for the feedback, and we'll start with the VP, followed by the Prime Minister, followed by the Minister responsible for Agriculture, followed by the Minister responsible for Education, and Deputy Minister responsible for Mines and Energy.
Thank you very much.
Oh, point of correction. Point of correction, I will start from the back. Apology. Yeah, so my apology, point of correction is that we'll start with the Deputy Minister of Mines and Energy, followed by Minister of Education, followed by Minister responsible for Agriculture, the Prime Minister, and then the Vice President. Thank you.
Good afternoon, comrades. The first 2 questions, I think it's from Romario. Romario, qualification for green hydrogen. Yeah, the cleaner is going to, the cleaner at the green hydrogen, because the green hydrogen is not there yet. So we cannot talk about the cleaners. But maybe if you refer to the qualification, there was scholarships. So the first scholarships of 128 students was 37 points. But those scholars, the unemployed youth who were assisted, studied abroad with that 37 marks or points. But they studied in master's degrees in different geology and science subjects. But there is a second round where we got 25 million from the German government. And from that one, there is no age restriction. No, there is an age restriction between 18 and 35. And there is no qualification when it comes to education. So any unemployed youth, as long as you are from Namibia, were required to apply for that grant, but that is for a VTC. So currently from that 25 million, we have 90 unemployed youth, 45 from Hardap region and 45 from Paras region, who is currently enrolled at NIMT. So there is no requirement. And that applications was only meant for Paras region and Hardap region youth. And that program was launched by our Vice President in Gibeon this year. That is my answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. I will quickly go to the questions. The first one is on qualifications for cleaners. So we must understand that cleaner posts, administrative posts, all those are what we call entry positions. Even a teacher's post is an entry position. And for cleaners, because the needs are so many, there's been a request from national level that you go to the nearest labor office and become part of the database, load all your details, so that if a directorate For example, that under decentralization, Directorate of Education in Xara's region would need cleaners and administrative officers. They would go directly to the database of Ministry of Labor and then pull from there a diverse pool and then invite you for an interview. That is how it's been done, because once we advertise the posts, you get hundreds of applications, and it takes very, very long then to fill the post. So that is just what I wanted to explain in terms of procedure, and I really wish to encourage the youth of Keetmans and Xaras everywhere, Ubib and Wortel. Please register your qualifications, everything about you. There will be someone at these offices that will help you to load your documents onto the integrated national data system. And it becomes easier for the directorate to pull from there. So that's the one thing. The second one was by Lucas, student leader, government funded. You are right. And for this year, our ministry provided 9 million to Xaras for basic education facilities, 6 million, and the remainder 3.4 million for renovations. That's on infrastructure development. However, under the leadership of our Right Honorable Prime Minister, we have recently concluded a memorandum of understanding with NTA, National Training Authority, where the Ministry of Health and Social Services, and then of course our Ministry of Education, MASAC, where we sign a memorandum with the TVET so that the graduates and the trainees will renovate our buildings. And hopefully it will be much cheaper. That doesn't mean that all the buildings will go to TVET for renovation. There will still be contracts at a regional council level, and we do hope that the procurement in this region will improve in the regional council, and we will not have any specific delays which withhold our people in Keetmanshoop and in the Xaras region to directly benefit from becoming a supplier, a service provider. So we must overcome the procurement issues that we are facing here. That's a key thing I wish to state. So yes, you are right. We must use even the unemployed Association of Artisans. We also have a relationship in a memorandum with them, and there are more projects that will go to public entities, even to NIMT, to NTA, and if for example, if like Keetmanshoop, VTC that is here, the moment it become up and running, we will use those trainees or those who are already on the database to help us with the renovations in Xaras. So specifically for the TVET Center in that region. So that is one thing that I wanted to say. And Right Honorable Prime Minister and really everyone in the audience, today I had a very insightful meeting with the directorate and the works inspectors. And they were actually saying some of them are trained instructors. So if we would be allowed through NIMT and Keetmanshoop TVET to allow at the regional offices, like in education, to have electricians who are qualified to come as interns and work with them and under them, being supervised, that would be great. And so we're going to explore that possibility of more internship programs for our youth in Keetmans. Okay. So there's a lot of misinformation. I really implore, I said this yesterday, and I am so proud of what happened and transpired yesterday. Yesterday we were at a TVET graduation of 107 graduates at the National Youth Service at Rietfontein Center. And I must tell you that Rietfontein Center takes from across 14 regions. So if the NYS, the National Youth Service, come to Keetmanshoop, Wortel, Ubi, Warmbad of Beersheba, Karasburg, Kois, wherever, please make sure that you enroll. The overall best performer was a Mungunda child from this area. So what am I saying? The National Youth Service allows not just for skills training, but you get an opportunity to TVET training. You understand? So don't miss the opportunities that are there with the National Youth Service as well, because we see that children and the youth are benefiting. I also take the proposal, Right Honourable Prime Minister, Your Excellency, our Vice President, on the database analysis that is being proposed. And then I want to go to the next question by Elizabeth Silas on diplomacy. Because of these kinds of problems of universities, be they public or private, that may offer courses that are not accredited, we have introduced a joint monitoring and a joint committee between the NQA, the Namibia Qualifications Authority, and the NCHE, Namibia Higher Council of Education. And they went to the University of Namibia and did an intense institutional assessment and approved all the postgraduates. In terms of this diplomacy course, I must tell you that I will need to find much more information and then revert through the structures to answer this. So in terms of the money and the time that has been spent, we really need to protect. And NQA has a list of all qualifications, more than 63, that are accredited in public and private institutions. Once again, I will request the parents, I will request the siblings, stakeholders, and the prospective students to make sure that the course that you are enrolling for, whether it's nursing, whether it's in education, whether it's in diplomacy, international relations, make sure that it's accredited. But I will find out more specifically. And I think my team, hearing this already, they are determining the facts around the diplomacy course. Then we have a gentleman from the Southern Campus that talks about youth empowerment. I think that was a statement. If there's a specific question around that, I would just like to understand it much better. And then we have David that talks about other opportunities that may be there. There is also low-hanging fruits. In Xara's region alone, more than 501 youth have benefited from various trainings that are linked to the youth employability, entrepreneurial skills, financial trainings, life skills, sexual reproductive health, and many other specific entrepreneurial that is focused on IT, but also on tailoring. So there's also the Namibia Youth Credit Schemes. There are various opportunities. What we need is to ignite in our youths to use our devices specifically and become hungry to find out which platforms still exist and to work towards that. So there are various opportunities. All our TVET sectors, for example, we are busy in Namibia transforming our TVET. TVET must be our first choices. Universities are not for everyone, and we don't need academics. We need plumbers, we need welders, we need tilers, we need those who can work with their hands, skills development. They are the ones that we must now channel all our energies towards. And like I said, TVET, NAMCO, NYS, like the public universities, they will equally benefit from what we call subsidized tertiary education. And that leads me to the question from Lucas from Arawa. So let us unpack a little bit what this is all about. All the answers will not be provided today because Her Excellency will pronounce herself on the matter. Do we understand? But I can give a little bit of background information. So we don't talk about free education when it comes to tertiary education. Okay? So we delete the word free. We call it subsidized tertiary education. But there are two things that is 100% subsidized, which means that if you enroll for your first degree, are you with me? Or your diploma, or your certificate at a TVET center, or at NAMCOL for TVET, NAMCOL for TVET, ne? Skills development, the NYS TVET, the public universities, discussions, there will still be decision making around private institutions. All your registration fees will be paid, but you are responsible for your application fees. If you are allowed and accepted, your registration fees will be paid directly after there's a verification done that truly you exist. Sanet Steenkamp do exist, and she did apply for this. We've verified that. We pay the registration fee over through Ministry of Finance, and then your tuition fee, which means, what did our president say? It's a phased-in approach. Are you with me? So the discussions have been concluded. The task force concluded all their presentations, all their consultations up to the level with UNESCO, and there's no turning back. We will provide, but there will be conditions. So you must be able to qualify. There are minimum standards that all institutions who will benefit, they must meet minimum standards. They must offer the courses, for example, that are priority fields. They must offer the courses that are accredited and for which there are specific minimum standards and qualifications that they have to meet. So that is where we are. Now, as soon as when we presented to Her Excellency and the Prime Minister, our Vice President, we were given more homework, ne? To go and look at what is the possibility of non-tuition, ne? Non-tuition accommodation and other expenses. We went back, we did as we were told, and then we went back again and worked with the Ministry of Finance. Because when we start this, we must be able to sustain it. Are you with me? We can't start it in this 1 year and then stop it in the next year. That is why we are really cautiously following the advice of Her Excellency to have a phased-in approach. And as soon as we go back now from the Ministry of Finance and MASAC to Her Excellency and the Cabinet, a decision will be made, and we are then ready to run with a marketing campaign and the information drive and the awareness raising, sensitization, to make sure that you fully understand what it is that the parents will do and what it is in terms of registration is guaranteed. Tuition is guaranteed. That is in your package.
Thank you.
Can I have a round of applause for that?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I so submit.
Thank you, Comrade Minister. Before we proceed, I'm being guided, and I would like to bring this under your attention. We do not have power. There is no electricity. So therefore, we're not able to continue with the second session of questions. So we'll just allow the panelists to answer the questions of the first round, and then we close off. So thank you very much.
Dear Director of Ceremonies, I thought we answered one question, everyone, so I failed to answer my two questions. So I therefore quickly want to answer the other question of mine.
To do justice, so yes, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, the one was one of Erastus Angula about the income tax threshold for close corporations. It was 31%, but during the midterm review, it was reduced to 28%. And next year it will be revealed again during next year, February. The other question was about the green hydrogen. No, green hydrogen, yeah, the education. I think that one, the junior mayor, that question was maybe to the minister, because you want to find out, because you need to come out clear, you want to find out whether the green hydrogen subjects can be taught in schools. So I think the Honorable Minister will answer on that one. But currently, the green hydrogen in our side is more on VTCs and the other scholarships which were done. The other comrade, I did not write down the name, was about the manufacturing. Now, he wants to find out, he mentioned we are rich in natural resources in Namibia. We have so many resources in our country, so how can the youth benefit? Currently, the manufacturing plant, I will talk about the green hydrogen. With the green hydrogen, we will come up with a lot of manufacturing plants. It's also mentioned in the SWAPO Party manifesto plan, as well as the SWAPO Party manifesto implementation plan about manufacturing plant. So whenever our president is